Alright guys, after many technical difficulties, we are going to officially bring you the review for the Planet Eclipse Gtek 180R, in this case the Infamous Edition, versus the new Dye DSR Pro. This is a battle of titans, as we've been saying to each other all day. Two absolute smash hits in the mid-range price point. I think this is going to get interesting and get really close, pretty hairy, so I'm excited to get into it. Joel, anything to say to the crowd here?
No, I'm excited.
Great. Alright guys.
Great markers.
Both are great. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below. Check out the links in the description to purchase either one of these bad boys, and make sure you check out our new membership, paid membership to Punisher's Paintball YouTube channel. Early access to videos, some discounts on some used gear and all kinds of fun stuff like that. There's an info video up here for you. We will catch you guys after the intro. Alright guys, if something goes wrong with this recording, I will fucking kill myself.
Alright guys, so we've already tried filming this once, and unfortunately we realized that about halfway through the video the audio was bad. So we are here, and we are going to do this video again for you guys. With that said, let's get straight into it. We've got the Dye DSR Pro. This was just released. It's got basically all the updates of the DSR Plus, but it already is included. We've got the Gtek 180R, the Infamous Edition, which is just strictly a milling job, but that's actually our last one there.
Yep.
And both these markers are in that mid-range price point, but you're getting high-level performance at that price. So the question becomes, if you aren't trying to spend $1,600, $1,700, which one are we picking out of these two? So let's get straight into it. We got a bunch of different criteria. If you haven't watched any of our videos, welcome.
We'll be a whole list of things.
And if you have, we'll try and be relatively quick when it comes to stuff that we say with most of our comparison videos. First and foremost, packaging. The Dye DSR Pro, yeah, Doug's got a box, I've got a sleeve. The Dye DSR Pro does come with this nice case, metal zippers, but does not have a carry handle. I'm going to open this up. You are going to get a total spot for 3 inserts. You can put an insert in the barrel back. You got your barrel spot for your barrel tip, and then 2 extra inserts. Most people will use a 680, 684, and a 688 when it comes to dye, but you only get the 688 with the insert, with the barrel. From the factory, you do get some Allen keys, you get a black barrel cover, you get this nice quick start guide, which does have quite a bit of different items on here. As far as information goes, all your colored O-rings, your diagram for your bolt system, walks through your board, how to turn on your air, how to turn on your power, as well as velocity adjustment. So everything that you're going to need to know there. Nice quick start guide there. Definitely one of my favorite in the industry when it comes to that. You get 1/4 of an ounce of grease. You get a nice 9-volt that is not with the marker already, which means you will actually have a full charge when you turn it on. Your data cable, and then your colored O-rings, which is a nice thing that Dye does, is they color the O-rings so you know which one you're installing when you do that. Doug, what do you got?
I have the Planet Eclipse case here. This has been out since the LV2, guys. It is still an aluminum case. It's got a nice heather finish on it. It does have an external carrying handle. Zippers are super high quality. I've never seen a PE zipper really fail. You open this bad boy up. Look at this section here. You get 6 slots for barrels, backs, fronts, inserts, and all that good stuff. So with your barrel tip not being able to take an insert, but your barrel back can, you can carry up to 5 insert sizes in this case without getting creative. Please don't get creative. I'm gonna tear up the phone. So at the bottom then, you have your nice labeled parts kit. So that's kind of the trade-off. This is labeled very clearly with a really nice color manual that shows you everything, versus colored O-rings and a little bit less manual in that one. Kind of a trade-off, but I would take this and the manual over the other, I think, any day. Nice labeled parts kit, an additional over here netting for whatever you want to put in there.
Barrel cover usually.
Yes, yes. So next up then we have the actual marker containing side. Pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. You got your full wrench set over here, and then your playing card, which we did. I had Joel guess who it was.
Randy Stanzak.
And it's
I win. I had guessed Chris Lasoya, which is a good guess.
It was still a pretty solid
seen
guess.
Quite a bit of Chris Lasoya in those cases. Between the two, Doug, I'm picking the packaging for the Gtek 180R.
I am too. It's just more solid. To get more barrel inserts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like the colored O-rings, though. I will give Dye points for that. That's pretty sweet.
For sure, for sure. All right, next up, we're going to talk about barrel between the two. The Dye DSR Pro, as already had mentioned, comes with the Dye ULI barrel system. Very nice machining job on the barrel system with this. Very smooth. Inserting and pulling out the insert is just very smooth, and unscrewing the barrels is nice. You get the nice 688 Dye ULI insert. It is a 15-inch barrel system, whereas with the Gtek 180R it's 14.5, so you get an extra half-inch there. Very nice barrel system.
However,
thread.
They both use the power insert, so the control bore is the same for the two of them. So
Yes.
an extra, half-inch in vanity, doesn't really do much for the motion of the ocean that you got there. But I actually don't mind the longer barrel systems. That's what it is on the Shocker currently. I didn't even notice. I just thought that I really liked how it was pointing.
Yeah.
You're getting a whole extra inch. What I will say though, between the two, this barrel's kind of boring, and I don't really love the way it points. I just kind of like the Dye barrel more than the. This is not the shaft system, but it still looks like the shaft, right? It's just a shaft that can take the power inserts. But seriously, either one are going to work just about the same. Both cocker threaded. You can put either one on either gun. We could mix and match them right now if we so chose. But I do prefer the Dye ULI system over the. I don't even remember what this edition of the barrels is called for PE.
Yeah, it's basically a shaft barrel that takes the power inserts. Yeah, Doug, I really like the Dye barrel system. It's kind of like standard across the board. Most people's favorite barrel is the Dye barrel.
Yeah.
With that said, I will say that the sound signature on the shaft power barrel is very nice, and actually makes the gun a little bit quieter, which is really cool. You can actually take that barrel system and throw it on CS3, and it's actually quieter, which makes it theoretically quieter than the S63 barrel that comes with the premium, your Geo R5 or your LV2 or CS3. So with that said, guys, it is a nice barrel system, but I do think that it feels higher quality. The Dye ULI does. So
I agree.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Feedneck between the two.
So again, as we had done this already, the height of each of these is
the same,
pretty much the same coming off the marker. Both have a good thumb wheel and all that. Pretty robust. Both have really good metal lever on the side. Like, they are very, very comparable.
Yes.
But I do kind of like the Dye one more because it's a little more sleek, a little more kind of thin.
It is.
It's not as wide and chunky as this one. It just looks a little better. So they're going to function just as well as one another, but I will pick the Dye Feedneck for this one.
I picked the Dye Feedneck as well. I like the fact that the Feedneck thumb wheel is a little bit thicker than some of the other competitors on the market, and that's one of my favorite things about the Planet Eclipse Feedneck is how thick that thumb wheel is. It makes it easy to adjust it, and it just feels like really good quality metal. I mean, it's all aluminum, but it might be partially because it's polish finish. But regardless of that, guys, I do pick the Feedneck on the DSR Pro too, because it's just a little bit more streamlined. Next up, we've got the eye system. This is a unique thing to both these markers as far as they are not your average Joe eye system. So the DSR Pro is going to be your 4th gen eye pipe with the breech sensor inside. So you've got your plastic eye pipe, and then inside there is a eye harness that kind of sits into the body of the marker. So if you chop a ton of paint, theoretically there should be no paint that actually gets in there. That's what the eye pipe's designed to do. But in the event that you do that, you can pull your bolt system out, you can pull this out, run a squeegee through it, put it back together, and you're good to go. Pop your eye pipe back into place and you're ready to rock. Very, very sleek design. Has been around quite some time with dye markers, and it's one of the best for a reason. So
honestly, as far as the Gtek 180R system here, we have the reflective system. So as you saw, pull off your battery cover, slide this little clip forward, and then your cover will actually come off the side here. Very easy, very simplistic, also very secure. This is pretty easy to clean. You just take it off, wipe it down, make sure it's all clean. Could use an air duster if you really wanted to get into some nooks and crannies, but you don't have to get very complex with it. The actual inner workings of everything are down here, and again, like, if it comes down to really having to get to that, you have a massive problem on your hands.
Correct.
As far as just basic cleaning and maintenance and disassembly, this is extremely simple. This was not difficult at all to get to. Both are very nice systems. I do actually kind of prefer the functionality of the eye pipe though.
okay.
I really do. I have always liked the eye pipe design from Dye. Mind you, this is probably number 2 for me just in general on the market, but not my choice.
So for me, there's both of them I've seen little quirks with on both sides. So with the Dye eye pipe system, what I have seen is that breech sleeve sits perfectly inside the breech, and if it shifts at all, you can actually cause an eye fault situation. So you have to perfectly align it, and in order to do that, you actually have to take the trigger frame off the marker and realign it. And then with the Gtek 180R, I've seen where you actually get paint behind the reflector, and in that situation, it's really tough to get the paint out. So sometimes it's just easier to replace the reflector, which is nice because Planet Eclipse does include, I think, 1 or 2 extra reflectors. And it's just a very small Phillips screw that, you know, you just take off, pop that new one on, and screw it back in. For me, I'm probably picking the eye system on the Gtek 180R because for me, the plastic 4th gen eye pipe is at fault for potentially cracking. I have seen them crack. If you overtime the barrel system on this, you can create that situation where it compresses the eye pipe, the plastic eye pipe, and causes it to crack. So if you're aware of that, it's not a problem. But if you're not aware of that, then you're replacing that $18 eye pipe. So with that said, I'm picking the 180R.
I'm still going to stick with the Dye marker. I've had a Rise in my arsenal since 2016. I previously was Dye sponsored a while back. Still have yet to break the eye pipe on that thing. So it's seldom an issue. It's rare enough that I'm okay with. I'm comfortable saying that is for me the better choice. So we will go 1 for 1 on that one. But after that is going to be battery changing.
Guys, the knob on the bottom of the DSR Pro is kind of a pain in the butt, especially the first few times that you use it in order to turn it back and forth. I actually have to use like a Phillips head screwdriver the first few times in order to get that back and forth. They designed it so it's supposed to be just with your fingers, but it's really not that easy the first few times, and then it just slides off. That one is perfect level of friction.
Truly just like wiggle, 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 bam, it's gone. You would probably never pull one of these off in a game, but you know, Joel is one of the only I've ever seen at the MSXL.
Listen, he was on our side of the snake. I didn't see the guy. Popped up on the snake, scared the crap out of me. Flinched super hard. Pulled my CS1 grip off.
Ripped it off.
So it is possible, but I'm the only person that I've ever seen that happen to.
It's hilarious.
So yeah, battery changing 180R for both of us. Next up, trigger between the two.
DSR Pro.
DSR Pro has this wonderful slightly deuced trigger, and it's very good return. I think that like if I did this, you know,
if you did your
special
wizard
treatment,
magic.
my wizard magic, I think I can make it even better.
It's like the finish on it too. It's just like really smooth.
It is, yeah, it is. I like the fact that it's kind of rounded around the edges.
Right.
So
both of us are going to pick the Dye DSR Pro for the trigger portion here. Board and programming. So I'm still sticking to my guns on this one, even from the first time we talked about it. I actually am going to go with the DSR Pro. I understand that it has more weaknesses in terms of like if you get shot in the back of it, that thing is toast. Like your little joystick will break over time or can break over time more easily than other functions on the 180. But if we're talking just the way that you program around the marker, at this point I've learned the Dye markers well enough that I actually really prefer that, because on the 180, if I'm trying to cycle through to something that the setting that I want, and I forget that it's not like a shocker where you don't hold the button or the trigger, you have to actually press the button. Then I have to cycle all the way through. I'm angry. I'm over it. It's not for me. So I actually do prefer the DSR Pro.
Yeah, I mean the 5-way joystick of the DSR Pro is definitely nice. One thing that I'm not crazy about that Dye does is when they sell a like the OLED board kit is an entire kit. So like one thing that I've seen is the plastic portion that protects the OLED screen has actually cracked quite a few times with some of the DSRs, and you actually have to order the entire kit as compared to just itemizing one thing. So that's one thing that I'm not crazy about, and I actually have seen the joystick faulty because basically there's a prong that sticks out of the board, and then that prong fits into the joystick. If that prong's not perfectly placed, if it's off to one side or another, I've actually seen it where if you're holding up, which is to set it into programming, it turns the eyes off, which is to hold it down. And so it's basically the opposite orientation of what it should be. I think overall, from a reliability perspective, I like the board of the Gtek 180R. And the programming and all that stuff. For me, I'm got big fingers. I'm not just crazy about the joystick. It's too far inset with the grips. It's hard to get to the up down and everything else.
Even with smaller fingers, I do still think it's a little difficult to get to for sure.
Yeah.
I just still prefer that.
Yeah, no, I understand
the frustration
where you're at
of
with
this
that
thing
for
man.
sure. All right, next up, guys, ASA between the two. So we got the Pops ASA on the Gtek 180R. We've got whatever ASA you want to call on this
lever,
thing.
not even a lever.
Yeah, and they
dial.
did, you know, with the DSR Plus, they made this bigger, and now they have released a metal edition of this that you can upgrade for $29.95 through Dye. Method also has one of these ASA knobs. You know, that's great, but it's not the fact that it breaks. I haven't seen many of them break.
I haven't
It's
either.
just the functionality of it.
Yeah, it's a little goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to engage and disengage.
I prefer the pop system over that.
I agree.
Massively.
Okay, next up, ergonomics between the two.
I am going with the DSR Pro. I think it fits my hands better. I don't mind. Joel's going to say that the foregrip is just too small for him or too short or something. We're very different sized people, so it actually fits me quite well. The UL frame is famous for being very comfortable in a lot of people's hands, and Joel has liked that on other dye markers.
For sure.
But when comparing these two,
Yeah.
I still feel like the 180, the actual grip in the rear here is still just a little big. This is good, still kind of chunky, but is good, but it's that rear grip for me that's just a little big, and the gun just doesn't feel as balanced in my hands as the DSR Pro.
Yeah, so like Doug said, I'm not crazy about the foregrip, but I do really like the trigger. I really like the trigger frame, obviously the UL trigger frame. For me, really what it boils down to is the foregrip on the 180R is a little bit bigger, and the center of gravity seems to be more balanced with the 180R. The 180R, I feel like the center of gravity is like right in the middle of the gun. With the DSR Pro, I feel like the majority of the weight is in the back. So when I aim it, I feel like it's sticking back out at me. And I'm one of those guys that likes having a very short area back cap wise here, mainly because I'm that dude that, you know, puts my thumb like this. But I just feel like, you know, when I put this right here, the DSR Pro extends further out, which pushes the center of gravity further back, and it drives me nuts, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
so, whatever. Next up, guys, weight. We're not going to weigh these because we already did. So, it's pretty simple.
This was 1 pound, sorry, yeah, 1 pound 14. This was 1 pound 15.
14.4 ounces on the Gtek 180R. This was 1 pound 15.5 ounces. So, 1.1 ounce advantage to the Gtek 180R. Congratulations.
So it's lighter.
All right, next up, maintenance between the two. Basically, what I said was, for me, I like the fact that the taking apart the regulator on the Gtek 180R is a little bit easier, but I really like the colored O-ring function on this. But
it's kind of tough to call.
But as far as like general maintenance, right? Like we're talking about general maintenance. We're not talking about completely stripping the marker apart. Everything else like that, I'm gonna give it a wash. Honestly,
they're both relatively easy to work on, I think, at this point, right? So,
yeah. Okay. Next up, build quality / reliability.
While the DSR is the more reliable of the dye platform markers,
it is
out of all of them for years now, it has been. I still am consistently seeing just PE guns are working out of the box a little bit better than others, and just kind of need a little bit less attention to the stuff.
And
like
you had
that.
said in the previous, when we filmed this before, you had said that you've seen one come out of the box from a sponsored player that didn't work at all, but you've also seen that on Planet Eclipse with the 180R.
It happens on both sides.
It does. It does.
On the average, I see it a little less often with Planet than I do with most other manufacturers, so I will give the build quality to Planet by default. Okay.
Yeah, I will too. I will too. Next up, tech support between the two. I think when it comes to shipping either of these markers directly to the factory, you know, with Dye you actually send it to Florida where Billy lives, and with Planet you send it directly to their Rhode Island warehouse. They're both very, very good. I think for me what it really boils down to is tech support when it comes to events. Planet does a really good job of having their network of techs in the majority of the events that they're at. Whereas I don't see that as much with Dye on the East Coast, maybe more on the West Coast, because that's where they're located. But I will say, for me, I'm picking tech support simply because of that.
I'm with you on that one 100%. And even talking to other manufacturers, like no one can really stand up to what Planet has done with building that network. Yeah. So it's Planet.
And then last but not least, before we do the shot quality portion of this, guys, we are going to talk about upgradability between the two. Both of these you can get mech frames with. You can get a couple different trigger styles with the infamous triggers with the Gtek 180R. Triggers for the DSR platform, I think there is a few. They're both autococker thread. They both are basically the same barrel system. This is where I gave the advantage actually to the DSR Pro.
And I was not aware.
Yeah, so both Method and Free Flow have different bolts for the DSR Pro that make the marker supposedly a little bit more efficient and a little bit smoother. So for that reason, I'm giving the upper hand upgradability wise to the DSR Pro.
I mean, it's objectively that it is.
Right.
It is literally the more upgradable marker.
So, all right, guys, we're gonna go outside. We're gonna do shot quality for you, and then we will see you guys back here in the studio to finish out with paint handling, efficiency, and overall value.
All right, guys, we're outside. It's actually nice out for once.
Beautiful.
Thank fucking God. All right, so we also have a new microphone on this camera. We're wondering how it works outside. So I'll obviously hear it.
And
but,
inside.
you know, tell us what you guys think as well. I forgot to mention it before. Anyway, so yeah, here we are. Dye DSR Pro now against the 180 edition of the infamous 180R. Or sorry, not the 180, the infamous edition of the 180R. So yeah, I mean, let's just get down to it and shoot them. Have you used either of these in a point yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I've used the old DSR forever ago. I have not used a 180 in a point yet.
Yeah, I've shot both. I've shot the 180 quite a bit as far as like actual points. The DSR Pro, I can't say I've shot the DSR Pro out like playing points, but I have shot a DSR Plus playing points, and I've shot a regular DSR playing points. So yeah.
Close enough. So
yeah.
I'm gonna come grab the camera and we're gonna get down to it.
All right, guys. So here we are. We've got this beautiful DSR Pro, and we are shooting some Draxis bronze. It's, you know, probably like a 2-3 star, and we're gonna do a little chrono action to show you guys where we're at here. So 286, 288, 282.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And we are not bore size. We've just got the 8.8 that came with it, and it's been shooting really consistent. So here we go. Okay. All right. Now we've got the Gtek 180R here, and we are going to chrono that one as well, just to show you guys that we are in the same ballpark. 286, 281, 276. Doug, I want your opinion before I might, honestly, hang on a second. I might have to shoot side by side real quick.
That's all right, do it right.
I just told Doug not to shoot too much paint because we don't have a ton out here, but
it's tough, man.
I actually think the Gtek 180R is a little bit smoother.
You think so?
Not. Yeah,
really?
I really do. So I'll be curious. I'm gonna turn this one off for you, Doug.
Sounds good to me.
Swap it over here.
All right.
And see what you think between the two here.
180 infamous edition. By the way, I do think these things look sick, but I want to shoot one. Here we go.
I also feel like the 180R is shooting a little bit straighter than the DSR Pro, which is kind of interesting. I've never noticed that before. We're shooting the same paint. You know,
are there bore sizes?
180R, well, the Gtek 180R is an 8.9 insert, and that's an 8.8 insert.
Okay, so it's only slight of a difference.
Right. Same paint.
Ooh. Yeah, this is squirreling a little bit more, and I don't know why it would be.
I mean, it could potentially be my hopper being a little dirty inside, but I just used it this last weekend and it was fine.
It's not greasy at all.
It's not greasy at all. That was my only other thought. All right, Doug. So what do you think between the two?
I never do the side-by-side thing that you do, but I'm actually gonna do it.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I don't have a lot of paint left in the DSR, but wow. Man, you know what? Historically, I do tend to prefer the shot on the DSR platform markers, but at least today, I'm kind of with you. The 180 just kind of feels like it's like...
Shoots good.
It does.
Such a good shooter.
Yeah, guys, I don't know. Here's the thing. Overall smoothness, I don't think it's like that smooth of a gun, right? Like the CS3 is gonna be a little smoother. The GR5 obviously is gonna be way smoother than this, but these two compared to each other, for whatever reason, that Pro doesn't feel as squishy as like some of the older DSRs. Like, cause I was expecting, right? Like super squishy, soft shot compared to this. Today's comparison video though, guys, I'm gonna have to give shot quality to the 180. So I guess we're gonna have to go, we have some things to talk about back at the studio.
Yeah, for sure. I picked the same, yeah, 180R.
See you guys there.
Alrighty guys, so there you have it. That is the shot quality between these two markers. So, two other things that we want to address was overall paint handling as well as efficiency. Paint handling, I think, I'm going to give it a wash. Though.
Yeah, they're both going to handle paint.
Yeah, I mean, we did brittle paint tests with the 180. We've done brittle paint tests with the DSR Pro. They're probably two of the best paint handlers on the market, if you ask me.
I could agree with that.
So with that said, we're going to talk about efficiency. So efficiency-wise, we did our efficiency test with the DSR Pro, and we didn't have a full fill, and it was a little cold outside. When I did the mathematical conversion, it came out to be a total of 1,800 shots, whereas we got right around 1,600 shots with the Gtek 180R. Same tank and everything else like that. We use SL277 and 768 because some of our competitors or some other people on the internet do 68s.
At this point, the 77 is the true standard.
Yeah, it is the standard. So with that said, the efficiency actually goes to the DSR Pro. I'm not surprised because when we did the IM Pro Kit video, it was like 20% more efficient than the regular DSR Plus.
That was crazy.
So it's one of the most efficient markers on the market, and it really puts it up there with like the Lux Idol and everything else like that. So, Doug, we're at $1199.95 for base colors here. For the PGA colors, which they've got some really cool PGA colors, we're at $1299.95. With the Gtek 180R for base colors, we're at $895.95, which is so $900, $1,200 to $1,300. The dye marker is more expensive. You can't get the infamous special cuts were sold out. Infamous is sold out, but those were.
There was an HK one a while back too. Like, there's all kinds of.
There are some other cuts that are going to be more expensive. With that said, which marker are you picking for the overall value? And like if you have $1,200 in your pocket, are you buying this and saving $300, or are you buying this?
So for $1,200 being in my pocket, and the fact that I like the shot better on like the 180, right? While I do prefer the ergonomics of the DSR, and I do love that it's more efficient by a significant amount, because I mean that's a whole extra loader, 200 shots, like that's a whole extra loader to get you out of trouble.
Yeah.
I am still probably going to go with giving value, and this has been pretty much every video I've done. The value purchase is the 180R. I think it's just between with how reliable it is and consistent, and all the support you get with it, and then it's $900. I mean that's crazy. I'm sorry, like that's
hard to beat, guys.
For the market and for what it is. That's a very generous pricing from them. So I really think the better value buy is the 180.
I agree with that. I'm going to go with the Gtek 180R as well. I think the DSR Pro is definitely knocking on the door, but I'm not going to be in a position where I'm spending $300 extra. I like the shot of the 180R better. Ergonomics for me is a big thing because I'm a big guy. Not everything fits my hands well. So I really like the way that the 180 feels compared to the way that the DSR Pro feels. The center of gravity thing is really funky for me. Like, it drives me nuts when I'm holding the gun. It really does. So with that said, I am also picking the 180R. There you have it.
There you have it, guys. So this is for me later. Hey, you stupid, put the scores right here so everybody can see the final scores. I can't keep track as we're doing this shit, so you get the scores here. We appreciate you guys sticking around through these videos. I know they're not the shortest, but most of you, I don't think, are here for a quick video. I think you guys are here for the details, and that's what we try to bring you. So I appreciate you sticking around. Make sure, again, the links are in the description to pick up either one of these bad boy from Punishers. Also, you can see a link to joining as a member, as a paid member, to get early access to stuff, as well as a bunch of other cool things from Punishers. Guys, we appreciate you sticking around. Make sure you leave a comment if you're a user of either one of these, and we will catch you in the next comparison video.
Thanks, guys.